Hello, everybody. Welcome to Webinar Wednesday. It is 12:30 here, so we're going to get started. And today we're going to go over Facebook and sales mastery. Really want to focus on Facebook, but I also just want to go over some sales tips with you today that will hopefully help you grow your business. So my name is Andre Munar. I am the president and co-founder of Collab Lending. I've been in the industry for 17 years. And like I said today, my goal is to show you how to be a social seller via Facebook. Facebook is my specialty. I know that there's a lot of social medias out there, but my specific specialty is Facebook. We're going to learn when and what to post, also the mindset that you should have behind using Facebook as a tool and not just a social media platform. So let's dive into some tips here for you. One thing that I really wanted to go over and that I talk about with my team is called FU money. And FU money stands for the money is in the follow-up. I'm not sure if some of you have seen these stats, but these are some pretty incredible stats, especially when you're following up with a prospect. 48% of salespeople never follow up with the prospect. Only 25% of salespeople make an attempt at a second contact, and only 12% of salespeople make that third attempt at a contact. And so if you look down a little further, really only 2% of sales are made on the first contact. I mean, when you reach out to somebody, you're usually playing phone tag for a little bit, or text tag or email tag or whatever that may be. So it's very rare that you make that contact on the first try. I know for us as mortgage people, we love those people and it's very rare that it happens, but you get them on the phone, you pre-approve them, they've already got a house, and by that same night they're under contract, and it's just so rare to find that. Normally, as you see the very last line here, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So we're going to talk about that and why that's important here next. So another thing I wanted to talk about is make sure that you're using the means of communication that your client likes to use. Again, we talk about that a lot here at Collab Lending with the team. And the way that I really like to phrase that is, yes, in our business, because you're a realtor or an insurance agent or a mortgage lender, yeah, you may use text a lot. You may use email a lot, and that's your way of communication with a lot of your other vendors, but most people don't use email. So for example, I came from the restaurant industry, and when I was in the restaurant industry, email wasn't really a thing. I didn't check my email every 5 minutes. I didn't check my email every hour. I mean, I was really lucky to check it once a month, to be honest with you. So using communication such as text to communicate with your clients and your vendors, your potential prospects is really important. There's a 98% open rate out there. And I want you to make sure also when you're texting that you're sending some good stuff. One of my favorite things when I'm following up with prospects, or when I am prospecting, or when I'm, working with my sphere of influence, I like to say, hey, I was just thinking of you, wanted to check in and see how things were going, right? So sending text messages about happy holidays, and always make sure to put your name in that signature, because sometimes people get a new phone, or I know it's happened to me, my phone bugs out and I lose the name to that contact. So always make sure that you're communicating with your clients in text message and phone calls and emails, because everybody has a different preferred of communication. And text, as we know, is really big right now. And going back to what we were talking about, that 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. You see here at the top, it says, this is one of my favorite lines that I learned from my coach back probably a good 7 years ago. He told me, we're in the marketing to our database business. We are not in the real estate business. And we try to really focus on this. We try to put all of our names and phone numbers and emails in our database and in our CRM, because then that way, all I'm doing is constantly going through them instead of having to chase new business. I mean, can you imagine 10, 15 years of putting names in your database? All you have to do is continuously cultivate that database instead of constantly trying to find new business. These are some statistics from the National Association of Realtors. 84% of people said that they would use the same agent again, but reality is that only 12 to 17 of them did. Why? And it's usually because there's no follow-up. They're not sending text messages after the sale. There's no CRM that's following up with them on their birthdays or on their holidays. There's no phone calls coming back. And although you may think that you are an amazing agent, there's a dime a dozen. We are all a dime a dozen. And so if you're not staying in front of them, if you're not marketing to your database consistently, I promise you that somebody is. And now we're going to get to the good stuff, which is really what you came here for, is how to use Facebook, what to post, when to post. And these are the keys to success on using Facebook, and how I probably get anywhere between about 3 to 5 leads a week in my DM from clients, from potential prospects. And so the very first thing that we want to talk about is you have to use Facebook intentionally. And so what do I mean by that? Using Facebook intentionally, I've heard agents say to me, or loan officers say to me, I don't want people seeing into my personal life. And unfortunately, if that's going to be your mindset, then Facebook isn't really a tool for you. It's going to be a social media platform. So when I was told to use Facebook with intention, I threw everything out the window as far as what Facebook really was. It's not a social media platform to me. It's really a tool. And so I had to learn to become comfortable with the things that I was going to post and not care what people were going to think. But I was also taught what to post, right? And also understanding that Facebook is branding and lead generation. So you can brand yourself as, a realtor rock star, or as a mortgage rock star, or as an insurance rock star, but it is also lead generation at the same time. So that is what's so great about Facebook, is that it is not only lead generation, but it is also brand recognition for you. And so the way that you can monetize Facebook is that you have to understand that you can treat it like a CRM, right? So one of the things that I was told to do very early on is to get to 5,000 friends. Facebook has a limit of 5,000 friends, and you want to make sure you get there ASAP. So I started adding all of my clients, all of my current clients, all of my past clients, all of the clients who inquired, real estate agents that I wanted to work with, that I had worked with, listing agents, insurance agents, attorneys, divorce attorneys, CPAs, financial. I just started adding people in my space, right, to fill that 5,000. Those 5,000 friends. And then what happens once you fill up to those 5,000, you're going to start to be able to cultivate your list even a little further, because you're going to get more friend requests. Also, another tip on that is I never hit 5,000. I always keep it at 4,999, because if you hit 5,000, somebody can't hit the add button to add you as a friend. So it's the way that I do it. Treat Facebook as a lead generation source. Treat it as a post follow-up campaign. So with your past clients who have closed, it's a great way to stay in touch with them. It's a great way for them to see what you're doing after that you've closed. It's a great way for you to keep up with them and their family. And like I said, treating it as a referral source. And I'm sorry, this slide should have been a little earlier. This is another tip that I got from actually a real estate agent who I thought this was a great tip. Sometimes pricing, when you're pricing, maybe pricing something at 300 at an even number is a really great technique, because if you're pricing something at 299,900, but somebody types in 300,000, you're only going to get that search if you type in 299,999. But if you list something at 300,000, you're not only going to get the buyer who's looking from 275,000 to 300, but you're also going to get that buyer who's looking for 300,000 to 325,000. So I thought that was just a really neat tip, and I wanted to share that with you. One other, something else that we do here at Collab is a daily success plan. So everybody always wants to know, what is it that loan officers do or realtors do on a daily basis? And these are the lists. This is a list of some of the things that we do on a daily basis. How are you managing your day and your time? How are you ensuring that you're working on your business and not just in your business? And then we set a specific amount of points to this. So, do you have a morning ritual? Are you following up on pre-approved clients? How many people are you calling from your birthday list? How many realtors are you calling? How many vendors are you calling? Are you building a new lead today? How many handwritten notes are you writing? How many people did you ask for business today? How many conversations did you have with those people who can refer you business, title agents, insurance agents, title companies, so on and so forth? How many face-to-face appointments did you have today? Did you attend a closing today? What kind of community outreach did you do? Did you do any training today to get better either at sales or a product that you're trying to do? Did you have any coffee or lunch appointments? Did you have any open houses today? And then there at the bottom, you kind of see the social media things. One of the things that you see there is, did you send a private message? I'm not sure if you know, but sending a private message actually ranks pretty high on the algorithm of Facebook. So if you're trying to get somebody to see your timeline and to engage, what you do is you send them a private message, and then they're going to start to see your timeline because you're engaging with them. And Facebook's algorithm ranks a private message really high. We're going to talk about what to post here. And what times to post. There are specific times that are really good to post. I mean, if you follow me on Facebook, or you're one of my Facebook friends, you can see that it's usually sometime between 7:30 to 8:30 is a great time to post. People are just getting up. And what's the first thing that you do when you get up in the morning? Let's be honest, we all look at our social media, right? That very first thing. And so I love to post motivational things. And I'm going to show you things that you can post. It doesn't have to be these things in this exact order, but these are ideas. My big thing in the mornings is a motivational post. I like people to get going. I like to give them some motivation and inspiration to get the morning started. Usually around 9:30 is also a good time to post. So people are just getting into work. They're going to get their morning started. It's also what I call the stay-at-home crowd. So the kids are now at school. The stay-at-home moms are also now at home. And so I suggest posting something cute. So think of kids, think pets, recipes, things to do. And so I always think that that's a really great time to post as well. 11:45. So that noon time is also, again, another great time to post. So when you're thinking of posting, you have to think, when are people on Facebook? And so that's what I'm trying to show you is these are the times that people are normally scrolling on Facebook. So that 11:45 to like 1:30, 1 o'clock range when people are getting ready to head out to lunch. Again, what do you do before you head out to lunch? You start to get antsy, you scroll through your Facebook. And this is what I would call your turn. So, discreetly post about yourself. Don't just post listings or don't just post, I do FHA loans. People, that doesn't drive somebody to want to DM you. So talk about what you do framed in a way that helps the average person. And that's what I call the E3. So posting about an experience, an extraction, or that will get you an exponential share. So sharing an experience about, what happened to you and how that happened to you and how that could benefit somebody, or it happened to your client, or it happened to others around you. Another thing that we like to tell our team is, just because you didn't experience it or your client didn't experience it, but maybe one of our loan officers in our company experienced it, you can still use that as an experience. Just pose it that way that, hey, we had somebody at our company, this happened, so on and so forth. And always make sure when you're posting, of course, to do a call to action. So my call to action is always, hey, if you'd love more information, you can call or text me at this number. You can email me at this number, or you can visit my website at this number. If you're in real estate, you can give them a direct access to your link. If you're a loan officer, you can say, hey, apply here at this link. But when you're posting about yourself, you always want to try to make it a story or how this could help them, such as USDA loans. You don't need any money down, and how can that benefit them? You just talking about yourself, people get bored of that. From noon to 4:30 usually is kind of a downtime. I call it the Facebook is dead during this time. People are back from lunch and they're grinding, they're working, they're putting their heads down. No one's online. This is the time that I would suggest that you pick. These are the times that you're prospecting, you're cold calling, you're door knocking, you're working on your business during these hours. Again, back up sometime around 4:30 is a great time to post. Guess what? People are getting antsy. They're getting ready to get back out of work again, and they start scrolling. So another idea to post is I love to post jokes. I love to post memes. I love to ask questions. So like yesterday, I had asked a question. I said, hey, I'm getting ready for a 5-day trip. How many outfits do you pack for a 5-day trip? And I got a ton of responses. I love to get engagement, making sure that you're engaging people and asking questions, and that your social media just isn't all about you. It's about your audience and how can you engage them. And then that way, when you do post stuff that is for business, it's still coming up on their feed. So again, jokes and memes and questions, those are all great things. And to be honest with you, I get a lot of these ideas from other people that I see post, or maybe I'll search through Instagram and see a question, and I'll just take a snapshot of it and then I'll save it in my folder for later. Again, this is what I call happy hour. Sometime around 6:30, everybody's home, everybody's getting ready for dinner. It's another great time to post. Be funny but engage people to comment. So I would and I recommend that you post about 3 times a day. I'm giving you several hours to post. That way you can choose what times best work for you. You don't have to post it all these hours, but these are the hours that work. And I recommend posting at least 3 times a day. For me, it took about 6 months to a year for my social media to really take off as a platform and as a lead generation tool. So it does take some time. It's not something that happens overnight, and you have to be consistent in doing it. So again, let's review what your schedule should look like here. At 7:30, you're going to have a motivational meme in the morning. 9:30 is your at-home crowd, something cute, something about animals, something that's going on about the community. In the afternoon, you can post about yourself. At noon to 4:30, there's no posting. Sometime around 4:30, again, another great time. 6:30 is another great time, dinner time. And then lately what I have found is what I'm calling the nightcap. Again, what do you do before you go to bed? When you're there either by yourself or your significant other or with your kids, you're scrolling through social media right before bed. So it's become one of my favorite times to also post right before people are going to bed. And as you can see here, out of all these times to post, I only said to post about yourself one time. So for every 3 posts, you're only going to post about yourself one time. People want to engage with your social media. They don't want to hear just all about you. And that's why I said that you have to have the mindset that Facebook is a tool. It is not for you to talk about you all the time. Look at how many deals I did, look at all my listings, look at how many loans I've closed. It's great that you're having those closings, but write a story with that closing and then remember a call to action. And then people are going to be intrigued by that, because not only are you going to have things about your business, but you should also have other things on here, like motivational things, things for them to do, questions that you're asking them. How are you engaging them? And that is going to wrap up our webinar Wednesday for today. So I hope that you at least had got a few tips in here and some pointers. So any questions that I can answer for anybody today? All right, well, that will wrap up our webinar Wednesday for today. I appreciate you guys coming on here. And as always, if there's anything that you need from us or anything we can help you with, please make sure you reach out to us at 800-280-2022. My personal email is andre@collablending, and you can find all the information about the services we provide at collablending.com. We're licensed in Pennsylvania, Florida, Illinois, North Carolina, Ohio, Maryland, and the amazing territory of Puerto Rico. So if we can help you or any of your friends or anybody that you know, we'd love to help. Make sure that you reach out to us. Thank you so much.